People of all ages, we know that, face anxiety, and it's so important that people know they are not alone in that.
That's why a documentary is working to remove the stigma of just talking about anxiety and mental health. That is coming to Boise. Joining us this morning to tell us more about Angst, three-time Olympic gold medalist Kristen Armstrong. Kristen, welcome back.
Yes, what a treat.
It's really great to be back.
I know, we love having you here. She's a regular part of the KCBB family. You'll see her during our Olympic coverage. But she's also a mom and an active member of our community that really wants to spread the word about encouraging better mental health. So tell us about Angst and what people can expect when they're watching it.
Yeah, so we're bringing a documentary to the Boise State Student Union building on Thursday, October 19th. And what we're doing is we're hoping to actually just bring more awareness to our community, but like you said, to remove the stigma, to talk about mental health. Because a lot of times we actually aren't very aware of what the signs are, whether you're a mom, you're a father, whether you're a parent, or not a parent, but you're a teacher, but even your peers. I think that peers are really important to recognize when maybe one of your friends isn't feeling amazing. But what are the signs, and what is anxiety? Is actually, there's a little bit of it in all of our lives that is okay and healthy, but at what point does it become unhealthy? And so we're gonna actually not only watch the documentary, you're gonna hear from a lot of experts, you're gonna hear from kids that are gonna speak out. And what we hope is that there's just a great conversation as well following the documentary with myself will be involved, as well as a few clinicians. And so we just hope to open up the conversation.
Yes, it's so important. It really is, because you're right, we all have it, but to what level is it healthy?
And you made a great point about, like, sort of peers, like other young people seeing that, because I have two teens, and man, getting any sort of information out of them, having those conversations is tough. It's their friends who sort of, they have those conversations with first. So, you know, making sure that they understand those signs, really important. What do you hope that people take away from this?
I hope that people take away when they go back home, because this is for parents, this is for kids, so we hope that the family comes together. And we hope that if this is a conversation that hasn't been opened in your house, that it actually gives comfort to the parent and the child to have the conversation. Because right now I think that sometimes both parent and child aren't sure how to talk about it. And so we hope that maybe on the car drive home, that the conversation begins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that is very important. You know, I think that as a parent, we're always trying to do our best for our child, and our child is always trying to do the best, not only for themselves, but sometimes for the parent. And we often think that if our kid is part of a sport or anything with after-school involvement, that they're going to be okay. But that's actually not the case, because there's so many pressures. And we have to be aware. So that's what I'm hoping that the takeaway is.
So how can people get involved? Where do we go? What do we do? Fill us in.
So you can sign up at angstbsu.eventbrite. So you can go to eventbrite.com and register. It's $10. You'll have snacks. You'll get to view the film. But let me just make it very clear. If there is any sort of barrier financially, please, please, please email thespeedyfoundation.org, and we have no problem like making sure that there's access. And so there's that's not a barrier. Please note that. And yeah, 5:30, I would show up around 5 o'clock, because there will be some tables with some different organizations with information. And we'll start our program at 5:30.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to post this on my Facebook page so that people get quick information. They can go ahead and just screen grab that code, sign up. It's a great way to do it. But yes, financial barriers should not be an issue. They want to make this accessible for everyone. October 19th. So thank you, Kristen, for coming on. This is such an important topic.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it impacts all families out there. So take advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for joining us again.